Welcome to Mr. Morse's virtual classroom. Today we're going to be focused on slope-intercept form. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is be able to identify the different locations of your equation. It's called slope-intercept form because we have only a slope and we have an intercept given, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. So we just need to see where that's located in an equation like this it's given. So my slope is going to be 1/2. And then my b would be whatever the sign is with it, so my y-intercept would be -5, or b would be -5. Okay, so we're going to write an equation in slope-intercept form given our slope and our intercept. So if my original equation is y equals mx plus b, all I need to do is take my m, replace the m with the number 3/2, and replace my b with the -1 so that I get 3/2 x minus 1. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and write an equation from a graph that's given to us. The first thing you need to do is find your slope. Generally find the point where it crosses the y-axis, which is actually my y-intercept. We'll talk about that in a second, but we'll find the second point at which it crosses. Okay, from there, my graph goes up 2, and it runs 3. So that means my slope is going to be 2/3. The only thing we need to determine is if it's positive or negative. Since it goes up and to the right, it would be positive. Our y-intercept is the point at which it crosses the y-axis. So this point here is where it crosses this line. Therefore, my y-intercept would be +1, and that would be because this coordinate is 0, 1, and that 1 indicates my y-intercept. Okay, so y-intercept of 1. That means my equation is going to be y equals, my m is going to be replaced with 2/3 x, and then plus 1. And that would be my equation. Okay, this one is a little more difficult. Remember that whenever we have a horizontal line, it doesn't rise up any. So my rise is 0. My run is however many you want to choose, which means my slope is going to be 0. My y-intercept is the point at which it crosses the y-axis, so that would be at -3, right? We got -2, -3, -4, so -3 would be the point it crosses. And that would make my equation y equals, and if my slope is m, I'd have 0x minus 3 for my b, and that would simplify to y equals -3. We want to get that 0 out of there. Okay, let's go to the next problem. I'm going to go ahead and start with the slope. I've got a point here that I'm going to choose, and it looks like the next point it hits is there. So I'm going to go down to right 1. It's a rise over run, so it'd be 2/1, which would simplify to 2. But the thing is, it goes down and to the right. Since it's down to the right, it would be negative. My y-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis or the y-axis, which would be at this point here, which would be 3. So my equation is going to be y equals -2x plus 3. All right, now we're going to go backwards from there. So we're actually going to be graphing these lines. So we always want to start with our b. Okay, but let's go ahead and label what our slope is. It's 1/2. Our y-intercept is -1. We always want to start here when we're graphing. We're almost going backwards from picking apart the last one. So we're going to start on the y-axis at -1. And then my slope is 1/2. So up 1, right 2. Don't draw that line in. It just means that the next point is going to be there. And then my line can be drawn in. And that's all there is to it. Let's go to the next one. We're going to go to well, let's go ahead and label it -3 and 4. -3 is my slope, 4 is my y-intercept. So I'm going to start at +4 on my y-axis. Right, we start here. And my slope is really -3/1. And remember, since it's negative, we're going to go down and to the right. So down 1, 2, 3, right 1. And that would be our next point, and this would be my graph. Okay. This one, my slope is -1, right? It's a negative and then 1 in front. And then my y-intercept is 3. So I'm going to start always at y-intercept, which is at 3. It's a -1/1 slope, so I'm going to go down and to the right. That means my next point would be there, which would make my graph this. let's skip this one. So now we're actually going to find our equation from a point and a slope. So remember that we just used the equation m equals y minus y over x minus x. So we're going to be taking these numbers and plugging them in. So we're going to get 3 equals and then y minus over x minus. And we're going to replace our y's up top. So this is my y, so this would be 5. And my x down below, so we'd get 2. I'm going to change colors. I don't like that. Okay, we need to cross multiply next. Okay, so we're going to have to put 3 over 1. So we're going to multiply those two together. And we're going to get 1 times y minus 5 equals, and then we're going to multiply the other way and get 3 times x minus 2. Okay, I need to distribute in. I'm going to get y minus 5 is equal to 3x minus 6. Remember, we distribute to both. And then to finish, I need to get it equal to y. And I get y is equal to 3x, and then that would be minus 1, which would be the form we want. We want a form of y equals mx plus b, which would be this. Okay, undefined. Remember, undefined means that I have a vertical line, so it rises up 1 and it runs none. Okay, so since it's vertical, that means my slope is going to be 1 over 0. And then we have y minus over x minus. Okay. My y is 0, my x is 3, and at this point I can go ahead and cross multiply. So 0 times y minus 0 is equal to 1 times x minus 3. I distribute those things. I'm going to get 0 equals, and I'm going to distribute this and get x minus 3. I need to get x alone, so I'm going to add the 3 to the left, and I get x is equal to 3. Let's go ahead and, yep, we'll do this last one, be done. All right, so we've got our slope of 0 over 1, okay? We're going to put this over 1 is equal to y minus over x minus, where my y is negative 8. So we put negative 8, and my x is 7. Right, we're going to go ahead and cross multiply. We get 1 times y plus 8, right? The double negative turns into a positive, equals, and then 0 times x minus 7. Okay, 0 times anything is still going to be 0. 1 times y is still going to stay y plus 8, and it's going to be equal to 0. I need to subtract my 8 and get y is equal to negative 8. And that would be my answer. Okay, good luck.